Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. Once again, he's Austin McNorton. We're here on April 22nd, just a couple days away from the draft. Very excited to be with you guys. And
Have a show on draft day.
we will have a show on draft day. We'll have it right before. So I wish we had a live show. I wish we were important enough to have that, like a live show during the draft that people would watch. But we're not quite important for that. And also, we might be in a little bit of a rush because Austin's charger for his computer is all the way across campus. He's about 30 to 40% of a battery. So we're gonna have to get this show under the belt in a hurry.
Which is not going to be easy for us.
It's not easy for us. It's not. Also, and if his computer dies mid-episode, it's not gonna let me redo it because it'll just stop recording and the recording will be gone. So you're gonna have to give me some warning because that is important because we gotta get
There's
this out.
a lot of now. Oh gosh, now there's a lot of pressure.
So warn me when you're getting to like 5 area and we'll stop it. The fans will understand.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yes, we'll hope so. Okay, we're going to start with the NBA. A lot of stuff has been happening in the playoffs, a lot of big storylines. But the biggest that we've been talking about on the show mostly is the Blazers Thunder series. And right now, it looks just about wrapped up. The Blazers have pretty much dominated in all 3 of the games. The Thunder were able to take a game 2 games ago. But the Trailblazers were able to win 111 to 98. And there's a lot of speculation as to why this is happening, why Russell Westbrook is not playing well at all, his struggles with the media, the squabbles with that one reporter. Now, it really begs a lot of questions. For me, it's about Russell Westbrook, and is it time to move on from him? Austin, do you think if the Thunder lose this series, do you think that the Thunder should move on from Russell Westbrook?
I've always, and throw back to the cave, I mean, you and I both agreed that we thought this was a guy, Russell Westbrook, who may not ever get you a title, to be honest. I mean,
another title.
Yeah. Even another chance at a finals. I mean, first of all, the Warriors, I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't seem like he himself can get there by himself. And with what's happening with Paul George, he's not 100% clearly this right now, so that factors in. I don't know. I think me personally, I think they should, but they won't. I don't think they will because he's the face of that organization, in my opinion. He gets the stats, he gets them wins, but I don't think he'll ever get them a championship. I've said that, throwback to the cave. Last year I said that. I'm still agreeing with it. I don't think he'll ever get them a ring. I think if they want to get a ring, they need to move on from him, but I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, and you said it pretty much exactly how I was going to say it. You stole it from me. That's fine, whatever. But
I saw your notes and I copied them down exactly.
Exactly. But it's tough to move on from an icon. And Russell Westbrook has become an icon. He's
the face of that city.
He is the Oklahoma, exactly. He is the Thunder. He's been the face of that franchise. When it's kind of like a divorce because Kevin Durant left to go to Golden State, and Russell Westbrook is the mother or the father that stayed with the kid. Okay, and the kid, no matter how bad the mother or father is, the kid is gonna be attached to that person. And right now, the Thunder, I feel, are attached to Russell Westbrook. His injury at the beginning of the season, I think, is still playing a part of it because of his style of play. He is a acceleration, 100% gas to or pedal to the metal, 100% of the time, and he doesn't have much touch when it comes to his jump shot or even around the rim.
And that's the thing. It's like when I say I don't think it's not because of his competitiveness or his drive to win, because that's top of like the NBA of him wanting to win. But there's just certain parts of his game that he won't win, and his jump shot being one of those.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because he's a guy that he's tough to play with, but it's not exactly he's not intentionally doing it because it's just the way he plays. He has to have the ball. He has to be taking the shots. But right now they're not falling. It's been like this most of the season. He has deteriorated a little bit this season.
And Damian Lillard is kind of the same way, except his shots fall. His shots right now are falling, and they're winning games because of it.
Yeah, he's a shooter, but he has that competitiveness. But the biggest thing in this series, and Charles Barkley said it, he just hit the nail on the head perfectly. He says Damian Lillard is not trying to compete with Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook is trying to compete with Damian Lillard. That is exactly what is happening right now. Russell Westbrook is trying to outdo a player that is better than him, a better shooter, probably a better ball handler at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's not working out. Right now, the Thunder they look lost. I think if they lose this series, that's the third straight first-round exit since Kevin Durant left. And you have Paul George with you, who is arguably probably another top 10, I think probably top 7, 8, he's in that range, player in the NBA. And you can't make it past the first round against the Blazers. And I know the Blazers are a fantastic
team. Couldn't make it past the first round in Utah last year.
Couldn't make it past the first round in Utah with Ricky Rubio, and they're getting spanked by the Rockets this year. The year before that, it was Russ by himself against the Rockets. I understand that loss. That's basically 2 years that you have two superstars cannot go past the first round. At some point, you have to say Russell Westbrook is responsible for a lot of this.
I think that's a really great way of putting it, because in Game 3, the one that they won, you could tell the most hype part of that game is when Russell Westbrook was talking trash to Damian Lillard after he hit the three in his eye to essentially seal the game. You could tell right there, Russell Westbrook's like, I got the better of you in this game. I outscored you. I hit the game-winning shot. You didn't. And Damian Lillard's like, that's fine. We'll win the next game. And he did. He's like, that's fine. He was not fazed by it at all. He's like, okay, Russ, you got the better of me in Game 1, but we're going to go up 3-1 in the series and win in Portland. Yeah. So it's no big deal to me that you hit a 3 in my eye. No big deal.
Which the competitiveness is a part of what makes him great, but it's just too much.
Right now, it's clouding him on what's most important.
Exactly. He has this tunnel vision. I'm going after Damian Lillard. I'm not going after the Trailblazers.
Exactly.
And right now, that's what's putting them in this deficit. I think Oklahoma City, I think they have a good problem because they have two superstars, and if they want to move on from one, they still have Paul George, who is a bona fide superstar. Give him a team by himself, I think he'll be that playoff against LeBron, Paul George that we used to see. But I just, if they lose again, I cannot defend them keeping Russell Westbrook. And it's hard to move on from him because of how much he's getting paid and because he is an icon, like we were just saying. So it's almost impossible to move on from him, but I think they should.
In order to get a ring.
In order to get a ring, exactly. You got to rebuild a little bit. You don't have to. And when you rebuild, that does not mean you have to start from scratch because you have.
Where do you think Russell Westbrook would fit in well?
I fit in well. I don't know if I can name a playoff team that he would fit in there well because he is such a dominant ball handler. So I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of players that are cool with him just coming in there with his attitude and just taking away shots. I don't see that happening. So I think probably small market, a team that's not doing very well right now, is probably like Miami. Dwayne Wade retires. They're looking for a new star to wrap their arms around. Miami, I think, would be a good fit.
That would be a good fit.
That would make them a playoff team in the East, no doubt, because they almost made the playoffs this year with
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now another topic in the NBA, and I think we'll move on after that, is the Philadelphia 76ers series versus the Brooklyn Nets. They are now up 3-1, but not to come with its own drama, kind of soap opera that we've been seeing, with Jared Dudley of the Nets going against the 76ers, pretty much single-handedly, that brawl that I don't want to call it a brawl. I'll call it a scuffle that ensued in that Game 4 matchup. Yeah, not really a ton of actually action, but a lot of what looks like action happened. So I'm still worried about the 76ers, and I'm not exactly worried about on the court this year in the playoffs because I think now they're starting to finally turn it on. But what worries me is that it took Jared Dudley to say that Ben Simmons was an average player for them to turn it on. It took Ben Simmons for somebody to call him out to actually play hard. That worries me. That means that shows me not only is this guy does have a lack of motivation, but it requires a lot for him to be motivated because we all know this guy could be a top 4 player in the NBA, 5 around that area.
Oh, yeah.
And he's played like that the past couple games because Jared Dudley called him out. That worries me beyond anything for the future. Maybe not this season, but for the future, man, that worries me.
Okay, that's a good okay. Because I was gonna say, because right now I don't think it worries me in this season because I think they can carry some of the momentum after coming back after losing game 1 and coming back and potentially winning the next 4 into their next series against most likely Toronto. I think some of that momentum could carry in. But for next season, if they inevitably get back to the playoffs, they'll say, "All right, here we are again." I mean, especially if he still hasn't developed a jump shot. If he's still the same type of player that can't shoot and is not very productive, as you and I both said, in the half-court sets, then that's really going to be a problem because what motivation do you have? You said, oh, we're still the same team that's still going to get to maybe the conference semifinals, but that's about it. You're right. So for the long-term future, yeah, that's concerning because you're 100% right. The only reason he got motivated at all for game 3 and 4 was because they got called out and Ben Simmons' face was plastered all over New York City.
Yeah.
Saying this guy's average. Exactly. All over the biggest city in the United States. Yeah. So exactly. That's concerning.
Exactly. That's what worries me the most is that if he would have came out and played just as well as he usually does after the call out, that shows to me that physically he just hasn't improved. But what worries me is that he improved his game
because we saw him go out there and play with a little bit of edge, a little bit of fire, like we know he can do, but we haven't seen it all season.
That's what worries me is that I don't know if he can ever recapture that.
What he's showing right now is that he could have done this all year, and he probably would have won MVP if he did.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. A fire inside of you as a competitor in any professional sport is what you have to have in order to be successful. I don't think that he has that because of this shows me exactly what I'm talking about. Because Jared Dudley called him out, all of a sudden he's like, okay, now I'm pissed. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna score 30 and I'm gonna get 10 rebounds. Why haven't you done that the whole time? All season. That worries me big time, especially with who had their player who basically is their future. He has the highest ceiling. So that worries me beyond.
Don't turn into an Andrew Wiggins.
That name still haunts me because I put everything into Andrew Wiggins.
You did. You really did.
Ben Simmons
out of all the hot takes, that was the one that was probably the worst for you.
No, actually it was not. So far, the worst looking hot take that I had from the show last year. Can you think of it? Do you remember what it was? I do, because I'm embarrassed by it still, even though I still kind of stand by it.
What?
I said that Markelle Fultz would be the greatest 76er of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I said that on the show. And you know what? I still think now he plays for the Magic, so obviously that did not happen. So I still believe this guy is going to be an all-star. Now I'm going to have to reel back a little bit because he still never got his shoulder right at all. Okay, he had nerve damage in it. That the 76ers,
some people are calling him like the biggest bust maybe of all time.
Yeah, because people aren't patient. People love to dismiss people as soon as they get a reason to. Oh, the guy's injured, has nerve damage. You try and shoot a freaking basketball with nerve damage in your shooting shoulder. Do it. I dare you. Jared Goff, people after the first year, that's a guy that I backed up. I still back up to this day. After the first year, people said he was a bust. I said, no, he's a big quarterback with a strong arm. He is deadly accurate in the short to intermediate routes. Still has some work on the deep ball. In his second year with Sean McVay, all of a sudden he's a Pro Bowler. So I'm not hearing this when it comes to you have to be.
You just want him to get healthy first before you call him a bust.
Yes, and really this applies to any sport. You have to I give them 3 years before I judge if they're a bust or if they are proven to where they were drafted, and that happens with any sport. So I hate when people just jump to say, oh, this guy's a bust right out the gate. I hate that. One of my biggest pet peeves in sports. Oh, I hate it so much. Speaking of NFL draft, we have our mock draft. We were doing the top 10 NFL mock draft with the draft here in about 2 to 3 days. Starts on the 25th in Nashville. lot of storylines that have been going on the past few days. Some crazy stuff with the Raiders. We'll get to that. The Cardinals today and yesterday, stories about maybe not taking Kyler Murray with the first pick. Today, the Giants, a story that Todd McShay dropped that they're going for a pass rusher at number 6. Whole lot of storylines, but let me tell you, this time of year is the time of year where you aren't buying anything. The month of April is the biggest fabricating month of the year when it comes to the NFL draft. Anything you hear.
You don't believe it until you see it on Thursday night.
Exactly. Also, I'm just irritated with the NFL draft. Just happened already. I'm tired of hearing everything about it, so we're going to talk about it. Because that's how it works. Okay.
We're gonna make other people hear about it. That's what we're gonna do.
Exactly. So we're gonna make you guys hear about it because we're tired of hearing about it. That's
exactly.
how. Exactly. So we're doing mock draft just for the top 10. We're not exactly draft experts, especially Austin himself.
I'm not. I'll tell people right now. This is not my area of expertise. I will probably watch picks 1 and 2, and that's it. Honestly.
Yeah, I consider myself one of the biggest draft nerds I know. I
watch all 7 rounds, don't you?
I watch all 7 rounds. Last year, we actually weren't able to watch the first round because we were in Kansas City at the Royals game. So I wasn't able to watch the first round last year. Very sad stuff. But yeah. I'm going to watch all 3 rounds this year. That is surprise, surprise. And I'll keep doing that throughout the rest of the season. I just love the NFL draft. I love everything that happens. There's always 5 or 6 storylines that pop out of nowhere that no one saw coming. That's the best part about it. So, top 10 mock draft. Go ahead, Mr. Expert.
Oh, gosh. So, number 10. So, do you want to go my whole 10 and then your whole 10? Or do you want to go my 10th and then your 10th? And then
we'll exchange. We'll go off and on.
All right. So, my 10th for the Denver Broncos, I have quarterback from Missouri, Drew Lock. I think. And this is a guy I don't think personally will do very well in the NFL. I think he's a guy who has the arm strength for sure. I don't know how great his accuracy is, and I know in college it didn't translate to any wins. But I think this is a guy that John Elway really likes. Really, this type of big-framed guy who can launch it down the field. He can sit behind Joe Flacco for a year potentially. Maybe even half a year, depending on how Denver's doing. But I have Drew Lock being a Bronco.
Okay, number 10, I have TJ Hawkinson. I kind of looked at it the other way. The reason I didn't go with Drew Lock there, because you're 100% right. Drew Lock is a John Elway quarterback.
100%.
But the thing is, Drew Lock is also exactly what Joe Flacco is. So I don't see him being able to sit behind
That's true.
and learn something. Also, the price tag for Joe Flacco is ridiculously high. I feel like you have an obligation to start Joe Flacco this season. I don't see them drafting a quarterback this year. I think maybe Justin Herbert next year, who is a wet dream for John Elway, is Justin Herbert. Talk about the biggest, strongest quarterback you'll see in a while. So I think they're waiting a year. I think they're going to try and get a weapon. TJ Hawkinson might be a mini weapon. He is a weapon. He is the best blocking tight end in the draft. He's kind of slower than Noah Fant at Iowa because they both played at the same college. But he's definitely going to go higher than Fant is what I've been seeing. So I'm going to go with Hawkinson to Denver.
Number 9 for your Buffalo Bills. And I know this is kind of a toss-up pick of recent because of some medical history. But I watched this guy play against my Wildcats at Kansas State. I think he's got the knowledge. I think he's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. He's just got pure talent at this position. Montez Sweat from Mississippi State. I don't know if this is a position necessarily that the Bills are directly looking for, but I think this kid has so much talent. It's tough to pass up on.
Yeah, I can't balance that on my head. Montez Sweat, the heart condition does scare me for the Bills. Defense is just there's no way they're going defense in the first round. If they are, I would be legitimately shocked. Even though the Bills have signed a lot of offensive linemen, I don't think you could ever pass up on a perimeter or a perennial all-star left tackle, Juwan Taylor out of Florida. And this is just purely based off of need. It's been obvious this season that the Bills are looking at Josh Allen as the guy, and they're saying, let me get anything around you on the offensive end because he had nothing last year to deal with on the offensive end. Let me give you as much as I can, give you some time to throw that ball, that strong arm that you have, give me some weapons. I'm going with Juwan Taylor, number 9 in Buffalo.
So for number 8, this is one who I think is kind of a wild card because he can kind of play the linebacker position. He can kind of play the D end, kind of similar to like a like a Von Miller type player maybe who can kind of play both. And Brian Burns from Florida State. He's got a lot of upside for him. There's also like looking at some other mock drafts here on ESPN. He has high character, works really hard, and so this is a guy who could. I mean, he was the team captain at Florida State. So this is a guy who can come in as a rookie and potentially make an impact just from his learning capability from other players on the Lions.
Yeah. And actually, funny enough, we had kind of the same philosophy when it comes to this pick at number 8 with the Lions because it's Matt Patricia at head coach and Bill Belichick. They like these humble, high character kind of guys. Yeah. So I went with defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. Matt Patricia's a big defensive guy. This will be his second draft with the Lions. I think he's going to want to build that interior line. And you're talking about the best guy in the draft. Christian Wilkins is the best human in this draft.
He might be.
I think he had like I think a 4.0 at Clemson. He was the captain of that defensive line, 4-year player, a guy who wanted to graduate, wanted to make his parents proud, get that degree. Also, the guy is a monster at the exact same time. If you can get both in the best, he's getting the best of both worlds. A nose tackle. I think he's a guy that wants to build from the inside out. So I'm going to go with Christian Wilkins at number 8 to Detroit.
Number 7 for Jacksonville, I have this is the guy you picked for the Bills and Juwan Taylor from Florida. I think they want to try and protect their new quarterback the best they can. I think this is one of the best offensive linemen that will be available at this spot. I have another offensive lineman going before him. But this is a guy who I think Jacksonville needs in order to – because we know how well their defense can play when they're like what we saw in 2017 when they have a little above average offense. Their defense plays out of their mind. When their offense can't do anything, then their defense is out on the field the whole time and doesn't play well at all, like we saw all of last season for Jacksonville. So I think they want to protect their offense as best they can, and I think this is a guy that can do that.
Yeah, once again, we kind of had the same thought process this time, except I don't think that the Jaguars, they had a good offensive line last year. I don't really see as Juwan Taylor as a need, as more of a luxury. Juwan Taylor, sure, take him. That's not a bad decision at all. For me, number 7, there's going to, Austin, mark my word, there's going to be a team that's going to buy high on DK Metcalf. And I think it's going to be the Jaguars. I think they want this big name.
Do you think that's deserving? Do you think he deserves to be up that high?
No, he does not. He's a workout warrior. I think AJ Brown is the better receiver on his own team at Ole Miss. But DK Metcalf is a guy that's going to go at number 7 to the Jaguars. They want to make a splash. Offense. If you want offense, you're going to have to trade back to get value. Otherwise, I think you're reaching in the top 10. I think they reach on DK Metcalf at number 7. I put him there because I think it's a mistake. And I think someone's going to make that in the top 10. And I think it's the Jaguars.
And you think Jacksonville's okay. You think they're trying to give their quarterback a weapon.
And he's a big name now. He's a social media icon now. That in Jacksonville is not exactly New York. They're not exactly selling out, seats. So I got him number 7.
Number 5, or actually number 6 for the Giants. This is where I have another offensive lineman in Jonah Williams. Is he from Alabama? Alabama, yeah. Playing underneath Nick Saban. He's got all the skill. He's got the size mostly. And I think you can put him about anywhere on that offensive line, and I think he would do well.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants They need to protect Saquon Barkley. He's the brightest spot on that team. They got to give him some help. He can't be running for his life all season long.
Right. I like your pick better. I think it might be the better pick with Jonah Williams, because I think that's of all the guys in the draft, I think that's the number one guy that I says cannot be bad. I think he's the biggest, strongest guy in the draft, I think, when it comes to
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He is. But I'm going with Dwayne Haskins at number 6.
Okay.
I truly believe that the Giants have this plan. Now, they have traded away, they have pretty much rebuilt this defense when it comes to letting Landon Collins go. They got Jabril Peppers, traded away Odell, Olivier Vernon's out, Kevin Zeitler's in. I think that they know what they're doing. And I know that's a big reach because a lot of people out there, this is a popular thing to be crapping on the Giants right now. I think that they know what they're doing right now.
You think they have a plan?
I think that they have a plan that none of us are really seeing right now. But I think Dwayne Haskins goes at number 6. If not, I think Jonah Williams would be a great consolation.
Do you think that Dwayne Haskins would sit a year behind Eli, or would they go half in the season? Because my fear with a quarterback in New York is that with Mahomes in Kansas City, Chiefs fans were fine with him sitting a year because, like, they said, Alex Smith, he'll get us to the playoffs. He'll play really well. We're fine. But with Eli Manning, people are going to be constantly calling for Dwayne Haskins to come up. And I don't think that'll be a good locker room situation. Even on the sidelines in games in the stadium, in MetLife Stadium, you know those fans are going to be chanting, bring Dwayne in, bring Haskins into the game. Whereas in Kansas City with Mahomes and Smith, they were like, we don't need Mahomes now. We know he's our quarterback for the future, but for right now, Smith will let Mahomes learn and still get us to the playoffs. Whereas in New York, that won't be the case.
Yeah, it's hard to justify sitting Haskins for a year because I think we can all agree right then and there, Dwayne Haskins would be the superior quarterback. And exactly like you're saying, New York fans are kind of more on edge than Kansas City fans were because we were
when it comes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, because the Kansas City fans, a big part of it also is, like you were saying, they were already a playoff team. So it was like putting Mahomes in there just made them better. But exactly. you're willing to take that.
Whereas Dwayne Haskins would completely just revamp their entire
It would make them better right away. Whereas where Mahomes might not have been better than Alex Smith on the first year. We don't know because they were already a perennial playoff team. They weren't a Super Bowl contender yet. Now they are. But it's really hard to get the fan base behind sitting a quarterback for a year. So Dwayne Haskins is 6.
Number 5, you and I agree on this. This is what the Buccaneers need the most in a linebacker. And Devin White, I think, is going to be the guy to be in Tampa Bay next season from LSU.
Yeah. Exactly. We both have him going to Tampa Bay. Him and Quan Alexander are going to be they got him. They overpaid for him in free agency, that's for sure. But they got him in free agency. Exactly. He went to San Francisco from Tampa Bay. He went to San Francisco. I just have a hard time believing that anyone in this draft class is better than Devin White. I think Devin White's the best player in this draft class. I am a huge believer in a quarterback for your defense, and I think Devin White is exactly that. He is fast. He can cover. He can stop the run. He can do everything, and he's extremely fast. So Devin White at number 5 to Buccaneers. I feel like this is probably one of the safer picks.
Yeah, this is what they need, and this is one of the best ones available for sure. Number 4, headed towards the Raiders in Oakland, which what a storyline they have going on. But I think they will take the defensive tackle from Houston in Ed Oliver. This is a guy who, in his freshman season at Houston, had 22.5 tackles for loss. He was a leader for this team. The defensive line, he had an amazing pro day from what all the scouts say. And he's for sure a top 10 pick, and I have him going all the way inside the top 5 at number 4.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. You know what? I messed up because I totally forgot to put Ed Oliver on my list, and I know he's a top 10. He's probably a top 10 draft pick. But I guess I'll just have to keep going because I can't edit everything right now.
I don't have Josh Allen in my top 10, so.
Fair enough. For me, I have at number 4 going to the Raiders. I have Josh Allen. I have them trying to replace Khalil Mack. Josh Allen is
that's what they need so much.
Josh Allen is exactly what a Raiders player is. He is this big, menacing looking guy who has all the talent in the world when it comes to physical attributes, but hasn't had all the skill put together quite yet. That's what the Raiders have drafted for the past 15 years. Josh Allen is one of them, and I think he will be successful. But I got Josh Allen at number 4 as a typical Raiders pick.
That's almost like the typical Raiders look. That's
exactly.
That's great. For the New York Jets, I feel like the top 3 are pretty safe bets. And we both have Quinnen Williams going here. This guy is just, I feel like he could be an animal. Defensive tackle from Alabama. The Jets, I mean, Williams had a breakout season last year. Was one of the best defensive players Alabama had. And every single mock draft that I've looked at has had this guy in at least the top 5.
Right.
So this guy's just too good to pass up, and I don't think the Jets will.
Yeah. Well, we might as well. We both have the same top 3. So we both have Quinnen Williams at number 3 to the Jets. 49ers taking Nick Bosa, and then Kyler Murray with number 1 with the Cardinals. At number 3 with the Jets, Quinnen Williams, I think, is going to just be the best player available, and I don't think it's a guy that you can just pass up right there at number 3. I think in the best interest for the Jets, because they already kind of have a good defensive line at the moment, maybe trade back, get some more picks. Of course, everyone tries to trade back and get more picks, but I think trading back would probably be the best option. Maybe someone wants Haskins at number 3, possibly. 49ers, again, best player available, Nick Bosa coming off the edge. They've drafted defensive line the past 3 years, but again, best player available. At number 2, it's tough to pass on. And then I think the best quarterback that we've seen in a while, Kyler Murray at number 1.
This is funny. I saw in this mock draft that I'm looking at, it says he's for Nick Bosa that he's a top 3 pick unless some kind of Laramie Tunsil news breaks out in the next couple hours.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We got about 3 more topics to cover, but we're kind of going to run low on time, so we're going to cut 2 of them, and we're going to keep 1. Okay, and we're going to go with each QB that we think is going to go in the first round and the best fit for each one of those. So I'll go ahead and start. Kyler Murray, I think, right, number 1 at the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury going to try and do this new college type of offense in the NFL, even though it's kind of somewhat already translating to that or transitioning towards that. But I see Kyler Murray as a successful NFL quarterback. The size is an issue. The stature is an issue. I'm not going to lie to you. But he has, I think, the strongest arm in the class, behind Drew Lock, probably.
I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he just runs around all the time." No, he's a pass first quarterback.
He is.
Who runs if he's absolutely has to. It's not like at Oklahoma they drew up run plays for him. Yeah. I mean, he was a pass first, and then he would make some miraculous scramble and gain 50 yards.
He was going to be an MLB right fielder. I don't think there's a question about the arm. Okay, and running around. The running around is going to cut itself out unless he needs it in the NFL. Exactly. So I have Kyler Murray to the Cardinals. I have Dwayne Haskins to the Redskins. I don't know if they really want Case Keenum. I don't know if they're waiting to sit out a year for Justin Herbert. I know that they're the one team that actually liked Herbert the most last year, or at least I believe that's what I was hearing. But Dwayne Haskins to the Redskins. I think the Redskins are in a very interesting position. They're kind of caught in between rebuilding and contending because of the Alex Smith injury. Last year, they were bar none the best team in the NFC East until Alex Smith snapped his leg. They were the best team in the NFC East. There's no doubt about it. And then Alex Smith snapped their leg, lost all of their momentum. The air was just out of the stadium for the rest of the season. So I think Dwayne Haskins to the Redskins. Drew Lock, like we were talking about, to Denver. John Elway, what dream quarterback. He loves them. He loves these kind of guys. Big, tall, can't hit the broadside of a barn, but he can throw it over the barn. So, Drew Lock. And then
throw it over the barn.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe a guy like Locke. Then I have Daniel Jones, and I think the best fit for him would be just not to get drafted. I don't think this guy is going to be a good quarterback at all. I don't know why he's even in the first round conversation. Didn't have a lot of success at Duke. He does not have a strong arm, and he is not accurate. I feel like you have to have one of the two. Maybe it's just me. Maybe, you know what? Go prove me wrong, Daniel Jones, because I'm a big time hater.
That's harsh.
It is. I'm not. I mean, I could be wrong about him, and I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong, but I just don't see it with this kid.
I had the same three you had. I think Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. I think Cliff does not want to pass on him. He even said that when he was coaching Texas Tech that he would draft Kyler Murray. And for John Elway, Drew Lock is the perfect quarterback for John Elway. John Elway loves these kind of big guys that you're setting. I may be one of the greatest statements. You could not hit the barn, but throw it over the barn. Yeah. That's a legendary statement, honestly. Yeah. Dwayne Haskins in Washington. They want to be contenders in the NFC East. It's one of the most high-profile divisions in the NFL. They want to be contenders in that division. Dwayne Haskins is a guy who could potentially do that for them. But I'm not as big of a hater on Daniel Jones as you are. Because I think he has a lot of upside. I think his ceiling is higher than you're giving him credit for. He may not be extremely talented now, but I think he could be.
Okay, so where's the ceiling though? Like, you can develop accuracy, but he's not going to develop an arm. He doesn't have the arm, and he doesn't have the accuracy.
He's pretty athletic, though. He's pretty athletic.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna spend my first round on a franchise quarterback that's athletic. That can't do anything else, though. I'm not trying to dig on you here, but I don't see it. You can. I don't see it one bit.
I have him going to Tennessee potentially. I think that could be a place where he could, if he can just be patient and they can be patient, I think he could do well because I think he has a higher upside than some of you are giving him credit for.
So do you believe that Marcus Mariota should not be the quarterback? Do you think he's a franchise guy?
I don't think that Daniel Jones is a franchise guy necessarily.
No, do you believe Marcus Mariota is a franchise guy? I do not.
I do not either.
I'm out on Marcus Mariota. He has not had one put together year without injury that has proved to me that I can rely on him and that he really can just put up good stats because he hasn't. He hasn't put up any good stats yet. So I mean, Tennessee would probably be a team looking for a quarterback. That might be a story.
That's why I have him going to the Titans.
That might be a storyline on draft night. Maybe that's a team that's looking for a quarterback. Maybe Vrabel does not believe in him right now. That would be interesting to watch.
And they have pick number 19, I think Tennessee does.
Tennessee has pick number 19. There you go. Very nice.
So he could definitely still be there.
He could still be there for sure. Okay. Moving on to our segments. We are in the back half of our show. Over, under, or push. I'm going to give Austin 3 topics. He's going to tell me, is it going to be over, is it going to be under, or is it going to be exactly what I'm telling him? So, number 1. I had to put some baseball in here somehow. So, Christian,
that's true. Yelich. We don't have any. Good call.
I mean, exactly. Christian Yelich will hit 45-plus home runs this season.
45 is a lot. But I'm going to say push. You
think he's going to hit 45? Because he has 13 already.
Yeah, I think he's going to hit 45.
Really? Okay.
From what I've seen so far, I have no reason to believe that he won't.
All right. Push. I'm going with it. I'll follow you down into this one. I'll go with 45. I'll go with exactly 45. He hit 36 last year. He already has 13. Maybe this is just a guy who, he's always been a good player. Maybe this is just a late bloomer into a Mike Trout-esque player. Maybe that's what we're seeing right now. I'm putting my faith in the Christian Yelich.
From what I've seen so far, I have no reason to believe that he won't.
he is bar none at this moment. He is right now easily the best player in the MLB.
Right now, for sure. For
yes.
sure. No
okay.
doubt.
All right. I like that one. Okay, number 2. 4 quarterbacks will be taken in the first round come Thursday night. Over, under, or push?
I'll say 4. Yep. I'll say 4.
Okay, push. So you think Daniel Jones is also going in the first round?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go with under. I think 3 are going to go. I think you're looking at Haskins, Locke, and Kyler Murray. I think they're going to come to their senses on Daniel Jones. I feel like that's all I'm talking about right now is Daniel Jones. But I think teams are going to finally look at the tape. I think they have
posted on YouTube. Daniel Jones, best quarterback in the draft? ? That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be.
It might be. It might have to be. So Daniel Jones, I don't see him going in the first round. I see him as a second and third round prospect that maybe you could develop into a guy maybe down the road if he sits behind a good quarterback and a good coach for a couple of years. But as of right now, I don't see this kid starting anywhere. And if you draft a guy in the first round, a lot of times they're going to end up starting. So I'm going to go with 3 quarterbacks. Okay, number 3. The Milwaukee Bucks will only lose 2 games going into the East.
I'll say over.
Think more than 2.
I think they'll lose probably. I'll say they'll lose over 2 because they'll play most likely Toronto and Boston, and I don't think they'll be able to sweep both of those teams.
Okay. I'm going to go with over because I think they're actually not going to make it to the final. I still am putting, I'm still putting my money into the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
They have a lot of stars that aren't talked about enough. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Marc Gasol, you have Pascal Siakam, you have Fred VanVleet. Those are 4 guys that no one talked. Kyle Lowry when he's actually playing. You have 5 guys that no one likes to talk about. I think that now they're playing with the fire. That first Magic game was a fluke. Obviously, we actually said that, and that turned out to be true. They're going to have to get Boston, I believe. I believe they played Boston in the second round. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to have to play Boston, who is the most experienced team because of last year. But Kawhi Leonard is also a finals. I don't know if he won the MVP that year, but he is one of the finals. So I think that one superstar player is going to put him above everyone else. I love the Toronto Raptors. Okay, well, unfortunately, Austin, you have a 5%. So we're going to hurry up and get this fact or fiction done real quick. So we're going to have to end the show short, but we're sorry. We'll make it up next time. That's the only option.
This might be the first show where we actually go to only an hour.
It might be less than an hour, which is frightening. Okay, number 1. Fake smiles can kill you, or that a bike rack was originally invented to store coffins in people's garages.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to say the second one is real.
It is not. Fake smiles can kill you. 3 for 7.
Oh. They can't.
Oh, they can. They can. I read it. I read all about it. I'm an expert in this stuff. Okay. Number 2.
Fake smiles.
Number 2. Craving ice is a symptom of a plasma deficiency, or that Australia is larger than Pluto.
I'm also going to say the second one's real.
It is.
Wow, that's crazy. I figured the astronomy one getting thrown in there. I was like, this could be real because you're the astronomy. You actually are an astronomy expert.
Yeah, but I also put the ice one in there because we talked about this before about ice and drinks.
Bring up ice on the show. Nice.
I doctored the fact. Craving ice is a symptom of an iron deficiency. That's a fact.
Oh, okay. So you altered it a little bit.
You're able to sniff it out. I like it. Okay, number 3. A mattress doubles its weight after a decade of use, or that California redwood trees have more roots in the ground than atoms on your hand.
I'm going to say the first one's real this time. The mattress.
You are correct again.
Oh, man. I feel like the atom thing is just, there's like so many that I can't even like process. There's probably so many that.
That was a good round for you. That was
Let's
a good
go.
round.
I gotta take 2 out of 3.
Those were good
Sitting
ones, though.
above 500 now, so let's see.
Credit. I have to give myself some credit. Those were tough ones, and you were able to prevail.
You always have some tough ones.
That was like playing good defense, but better offense is going to come out in the end. Okay.
5 of 9 on the year. I'm proud of that.
Unfortunately, that's going to have to be the end of the show. Austin's computer is about to die, so we got to get this over with. So
I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry.
Austin honestly didn't really bring his A game today, obviously. So
yeah, it's all on me.
I'm
sorry to the people.
Much like sports, I had to pick up the slack. I had to carry his butt this entire show. So that's going to be it for us on Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton. Thank you guys for listening. We'll have a longer show next Thursday, I promise.